about to. So tell me if you did.
You can? Listen, I have to speak to you after. No, I'm not here.
I need the prop, the nice big one.
I'm bringing it to you right now. I'm bringing it to you right now.
The best stuff here, which is the best one. Nachman, I have sensor issues. Noise. He's not coming. Don't worry. No, he's not coming. No.
I don't care. He's not going to come. Yeah, because he feels bad. I'm telling you, he's busy. He yells at me.
Who yelled at him?
This guy, you.
How do you yell at him? I said hello. I was getting confused in the words. You didn't see?
I told him. I told him.
I have a problem. It's not his problem.
I said to him, "You're confusing him. What do you want from him? It's hard for him." I told him. I said, "Okay, I hear you. Got it. You're getting filled out."
So she go ask him Kila.
He was embarrassed. He was in front of the whole place.
What did I say? The noise?
This is my
Shkoya, where do you live? Oh.
Another chashviyid.
Very possible.
Wow.
I know his father. Look, his father. I know his father. With a smile.
Who's יוסף? אתה רוצה לארגן את אחרי מיד בתחילת השיעור. So right, we could bring it like 2 minutes in. שכויה גדול, ברוך אתה אדין לא חילום, שהכהן יהיה בדברי. Yeah.
Those emails are the best way to get people to do sharing.
Yeah. Mics are on. Yeah, put it over next to me. I'll just pick it up. Is it a big hit?
Almost like the fish.
The fish. Yeah. You can't ditch a day. Yeah. You ready? Gary, Mukhan? Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lili nishmasim b'mirasi u'smaz Mordechai. Shmei Echt. Parnas HaChodesh. In honor of the Daf Yomi committee, that's all the members who push Shabbos has Torah with our Magid Shir. And Lili nishmas Mediach Chaver Mordechai Shloimi Pinchas Tuvia Olavas Shalom and Avram Moshe Peretz Ben Avram Moshe Peretz Nerio Kopman. Rosh Hashana is dedicated by Yossi and Esti Elbaum. And the children Taylor Ruvain, Lili Nishmas, Bilat Tzipori Basfer Ruvain, and for Shidduch for Tehillah Sora Bas Esther Leah. By Mark Ashkenazi, a big MDY shout out to some of the original Chevra, Larry Pearl, Nizar Fush Lema, Yehuda Nelson, Matt Steinberg, Jeff Gordon, Michael and Shmuel Sam Pearl. Keep on daffing, we know you're still at it. Anonymously, in honor of Rabbi David Ash, Mor the Asher of Northbrook, Illinois, and his wife Linda for bringing me into the shir and getting me to restart Daf Yomi. Shkoyach, Moshe Dax, Lilu Nishmas, my father, Rav Tzvi Hirsch, Ben Moshe on his 7th yahrzeit. Those are the sponsors. Yesterday we sang a song for a chassan, so this is what he looks like. This is Aaron Hirsch. He crashed I don't know, maybe he was invited, who knows. But he went to take a picture. Shkoyach. Who's that? Avi Nathan. Remember Avi Nathan. All right. And we have a bar mitzvah here of Romy Kupperman, who I met a number of times in New York. Here's the kid that in Aguda kept up the daf in Aguda. Here he is doing a siyum of Sukkah. So mazel tov to him. Rabbi said we have a big announcement. We are launching the very, very successful Grow MDY program. That is, that if you bring a friend to the shir, and if you join up to the shir, you receive usually, most of the time, an embossed special edition Gemara. There was some mess ups, I guess. People didn't get embossed and embossed Gemara. Even in Hebrew, it's going to have the special. Here, you want to pass me that Gemara over there? We'll show it. But I want to tell you that this is what it looks like. And it says over here, Merkez Daf Yomi, the whole thing, Yishkoyach.
It has stories inside.
It's a different Gemara. It has the pictures, it has the whole, everything. Rabbi Isai, so when the first person that jumped in was Akiva Solkowitz, he said he's giving 250 Gemaras. Then we have an anonymous sponsor who's giving me a tremendous amount. Tremendous. But here's the chap that we never had before. Rad Nakash, the guy that sponsored the raffle. He has a chiddush. He said, I spoke to him, he said he's given a lot of money to tzedakah, and I mean a lot of money to tzedakah over the years. He believes, and I thought I was biased. I was thinking this, but I didn't say it. He told this to me, and I think he's right in a way. The best tzedakah that he's ever given is to get another person to learn Daf Yomi. Why? Because for $25, where else for $25 could you give a person a change in their life? Bring him to Torah, but change their personality, change everything about them for $25. Give a guy, let's say 25, I'm not putting this down, giving $25 to the Hashana. Okay, so you give half a meal or something. Think about Fischl, he sponsored 1,350 Gemaras. He paid for 1,350 Gemaras. From those 1,350 Gemaras, 100 people are going to finish Shas maybe. It just keeps on going, the chesed. So what he wants to do, Murad Nakash, is he wants every single person to be involved. He feels that it's not right that one guy, one macher should be paying for all the Gemaras and da-da-da. Every single person should be involved. And how? If you donate one Gemara, he's going to match it. And he wants everybody to donate a Gemara. That's what he wants to do. Everybody should be involved. Now, if you donate $10,000, he'll give $10,000. There's no limit. But he doesn't want the big money. He wants the small, one Gemara, each person should be involved. Why not? And forget the Torah. Okay, you're getting somebody involved with the Torah. The Gemilas Chesed, you're giving somebody a gift. It's Pasha, that's what we're all about. Torah, Gemilas Chesed, I think it's unbelievable. MDYsponsor.com. MDYsponsor.com. Rabbi Isai, we're starting Taina soon. It's happening. The Gemaras went to print already. A guy called me up. I don't know if I should mention his name yet. Guy called me up. He said, Eli, give me a bunch of Gemaras. I'm putting out a table in front of Gourmet Glatt. On Friday, I'm starting to give out Gemara. Like, people are going crazy. They want to give. Unbelievable. So that's that. I guess, do we have time for an email or something? I have a lot of special guests. Who? Oh, Spira. All the way from, where do you live now? You want to come to the front? You want to get over here? I worked for his father. When I was an electrician, his father was an electrician, taught me electric. For like 2 years, he was my boss. Now I could be your boss. Start bossing you around. You want to get over here? Yeshua's, why? Unbelievable. Shalom Aleichem, all the way from Yerushalayim. I remember this kid when he was a little. In what? You went to YTT? Yeah. YTT. That's where my kids went to. The Frumster School in Chicago. All right. This one not. I don't have time for emails really. So I'm curious to know if R Eli Stefansky is related to Hagoyin Reb Mordechai Savitsky Zeicher Tzadik Levracha, who corresponded with the Rogatchover Goyin Baal Tzofnes Paneach. Yes, my grandfather was Hagoyin Reb Mordechai Savitsky, who wrote 12 Sfarim. Da 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 da. What else? Shnai Mikro here. Morning Tifferman. Is he here today? Nay. You often speak about the Cheshivas of doing Shnai Mikro in Shir, which coincidentally, Reish Pei Hey in Shulchan Aruch, almost a remez, something, I don't know what it means. Okay, we'll think about it later. He just finished, he says, his 18 years straight of never missing Shnai Mikro Echatargum. It was just his birthday for that, because he'd started by his bar mitzvah. Shnai Mikra has contributed an enormous amount to my life, and I highly encourage anybody who does not do it yet, to get on the bandwagon. It's almost as geschmack as the daf. All right, Morty. Mazel tov to Morty. Rabbi Isai, so yesterday we finished off the day with a bicycle wheel, and we'll just go back, review a little bit, because we have to finish the sugya with the bicycle wheel. Today is daf Yud Beis. So we'll take it back a few steps, just go over real quickly. By the way, if anybody was in my sukkah on Sukkot will recognize this wood. I needed some wood quickly, so I chopped the part of my sukkah, chopped it down into pieces, and used my jigsaw for this. Okay, whatever. If you want to know the details, we'll give you the details. There's no bucket, so we went with a paper cup. So where were we? We were over here. Oh, we need a tennis ball. Oh. So it goes like this. There's a straight plane, and Yosef did. If you ever look at minute 42, there's water. Nachman Seltzer drowns in the water. It's geschmack. You go like this. You don't know what I'm talking. The whole base measure fills up with water up to this point. Okay, don't do it again. It's fine. It's like whatever. Come up with something different. Maybe like the earth. Anyway, the point over here was that the Gemara says like this. Oisei hayoim yudzayin bir. But you know what? Let's step it back 1 second, because I said this real quickly. This is from the Hebrew Art Scroll right over here. And it goes like this. The Mabul started in Yud Zayin Cheshvan, which is the second month, 600 years into Noach's life. Now, as we're going to see, the years then, people's birthdays started based on, they called the year based on Brias Olam. So the second month of his life is Cheshvan. Well, no, sorry. Forget that. Iyar or Cheshvan, depending on when you think, when you understand the Brias Olam was. If it's Tishrei, if the Brias Olam was Tishrei, the second month is Cheshvan. If Brias Olam is Nisan, second month is Iyar. So the Mabul started Cheshvan. Kislev is the 40th day when the rain stopped. 150 days into it is his Gabras minus the Tahaim. And then all the way down here is that the water started drying up. That's the first day of Nisan. And then or on this side or this side. So basically, the Mabul lasted slightly more than a year. So if the Mabul started in Cheshvan, it ended in Cheshvan. We're going back to the Machlokes. When was the world created? In Tishrei or in Nisan? According to Rebbe Eliezer, it started in Tishrei. The world was created in Tishrei, so the second month is Cheshvan, and therefore the Mabul, when the Torah says it dried up, Yavshu, and Rashi says grid, became like, the land became very, very brittle. That is in Cheshvan. It happened in Cheshvan, the second month, and that has to do with Brias HaOlam. Because it's 600 years into Noach's life, the second month in his life, and we count months based on Brias HaOlam. Second month is Cheshvan, according to Rebbe Eliezer. So the Mabul ended. It started Yud Zayin Cheshvan, ended Chav Zayin Cheshvan in the 601st year, because the Torah switches the year suddenly. So we know that it's in the beginning of the 601st year, Cheshvan. That's the sugya. That's it. That's what we're trying to say, that if you hold Tishrei and Nisan, that Machlokes applies to us, and the same thing would apply according to Rebbe Shua. Instead of Cheshvan, it happened, started in the year, ended in the year. Now, the Gemara just says that Oisei Hayoim Yud Zayin Be'iyar Haya. According to Rabbi Yeshua, this is Rabbi Yeshua who says that the world was created in Nisan. Second month is Iyar. So Oisei Hayoim, the Mabul started Yud Zayin Iyar. It's like 7 lines from the bottom. Yom Shemazal Kimo Shekeya. So that's what we explained right over here. If you are standing on earth and you look at the sun, and the sun lines up with Tle, so the sun is right over here, let's say, and this is Kima, we turn on the light over here. There's 2 stars. Oh, it still works. Unbelievable. Here, in case you don't. So Kima is lined up. Kima is the end, the tail end of the tail of Tle. Because Baruch Hu took out 2 stars. Kima, we said, is the mazel of cold. And once you take out the 2 cold, the water's boiled up, says the Goyim. And this moves every 2 hours, it moves to the next mazel. And every month, it actually starts at the next mazel. So during the daytime, this goes 24 hours. You go through all 12 mazolis. In other words, every 2 hours, there's a new mazel. And the following month, if the sun, instead of you lining up the sun with Le, the following month, the sun lines up with Shar. What happens on the flip side over here is Akrov, right over here. So now, Shekeya. It says over here that this was Shekeya. Let's see inside. Shekeya means it goes up. In Hebrew, shekeh means goes down. But we're talking about in the lashon of the Gemara, shekeh, for whatever reason, you want to say that it's the beginning of it coming downwards because you don't see it anymore, whatever. Bayoim, and the water goes down. And because people were really evil, Baruch flipped it. Now, Kima was in the daytime right over here. In other words, Hela means it went down. Shkia. Here's the sun on this side, and Kima went away. It disappeared. Why? Because people were bad, so Hashem changed the nature. This is where he removed the two stars from Kima right over here, unplugged it, water came down, boiling water, as we're going to learn today. Rabbi Eliezer says that day was where the Akrov was on this side, Scorpion is over here, and the flip side was Tle over here. Okay. Yom Shemasa Kima Oila, Bayoim, Kima goes up, meaning goes down. It's going downwards, it's going into Shkia. Everything's the opposite now. So the water gets stronger. Top of Yud Beis Amud Aleph. And because they were bad people, he said, you're going to act differently, marry Scharim, etc. I'm going to change nature also. So, Kima, the Tle went down, Shkia. Instead of being, is that different? It's supposed to go down. Look, we're talking about Scorpion is over here. Akrav is over here. This is the Tle on this side. By the way, if you haven't been here, like maybe 2 years ago, Rabbi Adler gave me a scorpion, a live scorpion. And he told me that his son was doing an experiment on it because he heard that you don't have to feed a scorpion for many months. So his son grabbed the scorpion, decided not to feed it. And he gave it to me live for the shear, so I brought the shear, and it moved its leg a little. You see, it's alive. And I brought it home, and I went to give it back to him the next day, and there was an empty container, no scorpion. This half-dead scorpion escaped. I don't know how. It ate itself and disappeared. So we still have a scorpion running around our house somewhere. And I felt really bad. Now the kid's lost his pet. So he showed me a video. He just went out here in Ramat Bet Shemesh, and he took a video of him lifting up a stone, and 3 scorpions ran out. He says, don't worry, there's plenty of them around here. Not starved like that, but scorpions. Zok the Gemara. Same thing. So over here he unplugged Kima right over here. Same place where we said before. Ask Gemara Bishlam Rabbi Yeshua Hainu D'chsiv Sheni. According to Rabbi Yeshua, I understand Sheni. If you go back to the famous chart, I guess this is going to be the most used chart in this Masechta. The first month of the year is Nisan. Second month in the year is Iyar. So Sheni makes a lot of sense. Elo, the Rabbi Eliezer, my Sheni. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, that we're talking about Tishrei, so yes, Rosh Hashana is the first month, but it's not the month of the year. It's not the first month of the year. It's the first month of creation, second month of creation. But it's not how you call it. You don't call it Sheni. My Sheni. Why is it called Sheni? Sheni Ladin. It's the second month from Rosh Hashanah of Din. Bish. So what? So what if it's the second month of Din? So, very interesting. And we'll see soon. Second month of Din. Should we say it now? Say it now. Second month of Din means, at the end of the day, we ask the question. It's not the second month. So you say, okay, second month of Rosh Hashanah. So what? But why are you calling it the second month? The answer is because there would be no world without Din. Rosh Hashanah, when you say a person, well, it's more important for later. This is the Ran saying. When you say a person lived for 30 years, but in fact, he only lived since Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah, everything starts over again, says the Ran. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't say the world should continue, this person should continue, then he didn't continue. So his birthday is really on Rosh Hashanah. The world, it's not like Hakadosh Baruch Hu put the world into motion, that's it. He left it. Every Rosh Hashanah has to decide, is the water going to continue flowing from the falls or not? So it's actually Rosh Hashanah is the beginning. Fine. Now, this is the last piece. This is why I took it out here. According to Rabbi Yeshua, the tleh should have been on this side, like this. And instead, he flipped it over here. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, we're talking about that it's the mazel of Akrov. And it happens to be the tlez on this side going down anyway. So nothing happened. What did he change? This is the way it's supposed to be. Tlez is supposed to be over here. If the mazel is marchesh, it's over here. What month did he say? Shiv asar b'marcheshvin haya. It's not shiv asar b'iyar like Rabbi Eliezer said, like Rabbi Shua said. Rabbi Eliezer says it's marcheshvin. And marcheshvin means that scorpion is over here, and tleh is over here, and it is going downwards. It's supposed to go downwards. Everything is great. If it went upwards, we'd have a problem. But it's going down, and that's what's supposed to happen. Says the Gemara. Now I can remove this. Okay. Yuvaldik. The people, they ruined everything. How? Beroitchim with zera. Either it was Eshes Ish or zera levatala. Or beroitchim nidainu. That's how Hakadosh Baruch Hu paid them back with boiling hot water. And that's why the famous Gemara in Nida says, Kala oiches ba'amasai umashtin. Go to the bathroom holding the bris. Ki'ilu hevi mabel oilam. Because of this Gemara. Beroitchim kilkulu, beroitchim nidainu. Beroitchim, says the Gemara, kilkulu ba'avera, means arayis, avera. Uberoitchim nidainu. Beroitchim nidainu, ksiv hacha, vayishoiku hamayim. Uksiv hasam. It says by the Mabel that the water was shoka. What does it mean? So we're going to learn that it means the water cooled down. Uksiv hasam in Esther, v'chamas hamelech shachacha. Now, if you recall, it says like this: the king became very upset. His anger was burning within him. So that if it says by Achashverosh, v'chamas hamelech shachacha, first it says v'chamas bara, it was on fire. So what does shachacha mean? Shachacha means it cooled down. So now we know that the word shachacha means cool down. So when it says by shoiko hamayim, we know that the water cooled down. Cooled down from what? Because the water is boiling. What's the kasha? No, so the question is, what was the Shina? The Shina wasn't that the mazel went the wrong way. That's not. Shina was that it was broitchim, boiling water. There was a Shina in the teva, the nature. What do you have? What you have the rimshat? The Shina was in the nature of the roitchim. And that's why, by the way, what I said yesterday, the Vilna Gaon says on this, how do you see a Shin in Teva? There was water. No, he says no, because that's what changed, and it changed forever. The Teva actually changed. When we had beautiful weather up until that point, because Hakadosh Baruch Hu took out the two stars of Kima, which represent, the Gemara in Bracha says, they're in charge of cold, and he replaced them with Ayish, which is in charge of heat. So it messed everything up. It was a Shinu in Teva. That's the Shinu in Teva. That's goof what we're saying over. All right. There's a corny joke. We'll say it anyway because it's one of those dapim. There was a chazan who was a bad guy. But he had a beautiful voice. And he got up there and he started davening. And he said, for the very first time that year, he said, V'sein tal u'matal avracha, Moed HaGoshem. I should say. He said in Moed HaGasham, I think the story is. Yeah? Moed HaGasham. And literally, as he said it, as he's singing it, it started to rain. And the Rav didn't know what to do. So if he was mamish from the Gdolim, he said, a moifus from Chaim Kanievsky, look, he said it and it's already. So of course the Rav came up with a chap. He said, look, people like him caused the entire Mabel. So shtickle rain, it's not the end of the story, not such a big raya. Okay. Zakti Gemara Vayit, I told you it's corny. Torah Rabbanon, Chachmei Yisrael, Moinim Lamabel. What? Not even. What about yesterday's joke that you didn't give me a good laugh on? What number? I think it was what? No, not 127. This is new. No. The one where he said he told the guy, he said go ask Avraham Avinu, and you just give me a look. Like you didn't even understand it. I thought it was a great one actually. What?
You did.
I did what? I thought it was great.
Say it again.
Are you allowed to look at Sorry Menu?
No, that wasn't so.
The answer is, what? It was great. A Rebbe is asking, could he look at Sorry? Because he's over and looking. He says, because she's the most beautiful person that ever lived. But she's Sorry Menu. Maybe you're allowed to. Maybe you're not allowed to. It's a good child. You know what? If you're already on that level, ask Avraham Avinu. It's Moirdik. Okay, the jokes are getting shvach, he's saying. Okay. Tana Rabbanan. Chachmei Yisrael Moinim Lamabel Rosh Hashana. Ki Rosh Hashana. Where are we? Oh, Ki Reb Eliezer. What did I say? And your son is not even sitting here. Is nobody sitting next to me today? Wow, nobody. You're talking before. Talk about Chachmei Yisrael. Oy vey, we're already done. Chachmei Yisrael moinim lemabel Reb Eliezer. Reb Eliezer says Tishrei. Now, as Rashi points out, I mentioned before, what does that mean? The Mabel, Noach's life, every year of his life went based on Brias Olam. And that's the Ran, because in those days, we counted based on Rosh Hashana. HaKadosh Baruch Hu extended your life today. So it's your birthday. Every year it's your birthday today. Well, it's Kufa. But when it comes to seasons, Kireb Yeshua. Okay. So it goes like this. Very, very simple. I'll just try to confuse it, myself and yourself. The sun, we know, was created on Wednesday. That's why Birkas Hacham is always on a Wednesday. How many days are there in a year? 365 plus 6 hours. 365 plus 6 hours. That is, there are 4 seasons in the year. So if you take 365, 4 seasons divided by 365 and 6 hours, it comes out that next year, the season is going to begin a day and 7 hours later. Okay? Because you have those 6 hours. 365 divided by 4 is 91, and the 7.5 hours is what throws, the day and 7.5 hours throws it off. 91 days is a tkufa, 91 and 7.5 hours. If you know when HaKadosh Baruch Hu planted the sun in the sky for the very, very first time, it's not a problem. You go back 5,782 years, and you do the cheshbon. Every year, it's off by one day and 7.5 hours. And you do the cheshbon, you go backwards, 5,000, if you know the exact time it started. You know that the sun was placed in the sky in Nisan on a Wednesday, 5,782 years ago, then you can figure different things out. You can figure out when Birkas Hacham is. You can figure out things like that. Yeah? Again, Tkufas, there's 4 seasons. But they're not exact. They're not, the season doesn't start every year at the same time. It's off by a little bit every year. It keeps on similar to a month. A moilad. The moilad. The same thing with the moilad. A month is exactly 29 days, wrote it down, 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 1 chelik, which is 3.3 seconds. So imagine, it keeps on moving. But if you know when Hashem planted the moon in the sky, then you could do your own calculation. You just go back 5,782 years with a calculator, and you know you do that times 29 and etc., etc., etc. 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 3.3 chalakim, one chalik is 3.3 seconds. Then you can figure out exactly when the moiled is today. So you need to know that. How do you figure that out? Based on Nisan, not based on Tishrei. Everybody agrees that we're going to go with Nisan. That's when Hashem put it in the sky. However, Chachma Yom Sa'olam Amoinim Af Lamabel Kirib Yeshua. In a certain spot in Nisan on Wednesday, da-da-da. And then it's everything, the clock starts from then. What? That's when he created the sun and the moon, on that day. Yeah. No, Nisan, we're saying the world's created in Nisan. You have to say, we're saying the world's created in Nisan, this. And everybody's going to agree to that. And maybe, as we said yesterday, there was a harayon, there was a pregnancy of the world in Tishrei, and it gave birth in Nisan. Whatever it is, we're going to agree to that. Okay, next sugya. Brand new sugya. It says in the Mishnah that for vegetables, the cutoff is the first of Tishrei. Now, as it says in the pasuk, Shana Shana, Aser to Aser, Shana Shana. I cannot take vegetables that I cut off. How do you say reaped? How do you say I harvested? Thank you. A vegetable I harvest on last year on Tavshin Pei Aleph cannot be meiser for something that I harvested on Tavshin Pei Beis. What's the cutoff date? Rosh Hashana Tavshin Pei Beis. That's the cutoff date. Because it says Shana Shana. Tana. So now we have a brisa. It says, we have to remember this brisa. L'yirakos, vegetables is the cutoff date, the first of Tishrei, which is Rosh Hashanah. Well, maisros. Now, what in the world is maisros? We just said, for maisros, vegetables for maisros, this is the cutoff date. And then the brisa repeats itself, ula maisros. So we're going to have to deal with that. Vila Nadarim, the Gemara is going to explain what Nadarim is, that the cutoff date is the first of Tishrei. L'yirakos ma'ininu. What does it mean, vegetables? Meiser yarak. We're talking about the cutoff date for meiser. Hainu meisers. You said a second later meiser. What is going on here? Says the Gemara, Tana d'Rabbanan v'Ketani d'Oraisa. There's a d'Rabbanan and there's a d'Oraisa. We're going to see. So, maybe I'll just cheat a little bit over here. There's a d'Oraisa meiser and there's the Rabbanan meiser. All chita, gefen, zayis are d'Oraisa. Everything else is the Rabbanan, according to all Rishonim, most Rishonim. Maybe the Rambam slightly. Pears, apples, oranges, all midrabanan, and all vegetables are all midrabanan. So there's two meisers going on here. Yes, there's a meiser midoraisa, and there's a meiser midrabanan, and there's a cutoff date. The cutoff date is Rosh Hashanah. V'lisni doraisa b'reisha. So then why does it say yirakos and then meisros? Shouldn't a doraisa be first? Aidi dechavivale akdama, the famous Gemara that Chachamim love. The Divrei Torah that Chachamim came up with more than what's in Chamisha Chumshe Torah. They love it, so they said it first. The Tana did done. So how come our Mishnah doesn't talk about the rice at all? It talks about Yerakos. Tana the Rabbanon b'kolshkin the rice. So all we had to do is say one thing, the Rabbanon, and call the talking the Rabbanon came the rice talking. The bottom line is if I say the Rabbanon, I know the rice. We're listening, Meiser. So, why it should say meiser? That what? Echad meiser behema ve'echad meiser dagan. Why does it say in the brisa meisros? It should say meiser. What's the plural? In the brisa it says yerakos meisros nedarim. But why plural? Says the Gemara because one of them is meiser behema and one of them is meiser of fruit. As the Gemara, Vilisni Yarak. Why does it say Yaraka is plural? Just say vegetable, Yarak. The concept of meiser for vegetable. Says the Gemara, Trey Gavni Yarak. Because there are two categories of vegetables. This is not. Yarak Hanegad. I printed a nice picture, but then after I was about to come here, I noticed that it had like watermarks on it. I wasn't allowed to print it, so I left it at home. But we don't really need a picture. any vegetable that you sell by a bushel, like a head of lettuce, let's say, okay? Lettuce, a bunch of lettuce. Mishiyaged. We know that you're allowed to nash, you're allowed to eat a temporary achila from any fruit that has not finished the process, that doesn't have gemar malacha. How do you finish the process of vegetables? Well, it depends. If it's the type of vegetable that you put in a bushel and you sell it, so by tying it up in a rubber band, that's it. If you put it into some sort of container, putting it in the container is the gemar malacha. Now, not to be confused with Rosh Hashana. Rosh Hashana is the cutoff date for both of these categories. That's exactly what's going on here. We're telling you there's two categories of gemar malacha. Two categories of when you have to stop nashing. You have to take a meiser before you nash. If it's not gemar malacha, I can nash from it. If it's gemar malacha, I can't nash from it. What's gemar malacha? It depends. By the way, in Masechah Shabbos we learned that if you go to the store, if Chizda gave eitzah to his kids, I think it was, if you go to the store, buy the really long lettuce. Because the guy uses the same string. So you might as well get more for your money. You're paying $5 for a head of lettuce. Get the large one. Okay, one of those eitzes. Givalda. But but the cutoff date is still Rosh Hashana. Tarabanan liket yarak erev Rosh Hashana. So look, you see the lashon liket. He harvested the vegetables because that's when it becomes chayv and meiser. It doesn't matter how large it is, and if it bloomed, it didn't bloom. That's for trees. For vegetables, it's about harvesting. So he harvested one day before Rosh Hashanah, actually, shemesh v'chazav eliked, and then he went ahead and he repeated it, but it was one day after Rosh Hashanah, it was after Rosh Hashanah, or on Rosh Hashanah, mishatav shemesh. How do you go and harvest the vegetable on Rosh Hashanah? You're supposed to be in shul, and it's also guy. It's already the cutoff. You passed the cutoff. You cannot take a bunch of vegetables that I harvested before Rosh Hashanah and use it for meiser and truma for after Rosh Hashanah. You can't use the two separate things, and that's what the Mishnah says. We just turned. Please do it. All right. So like the Gemara, but there's also another nafkimina. In Ma'aseh Shniya Nechneses L'Shishis, we're talking about Shemitah now. There's a cycle. There's a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And as we know, somebody printed this up yesterday in small and black and white, put it out on the table. When you have a crop, you have to give 2% to the Kohen. And then you give 10% to the Levi. It's called Ma'aser Rishon. Skip number 3, that's not important for now. Number 4 is that on year 1, 2, 4, 5, you give Ma'aser Sheni. 10% you must bring to Yerushalayim, either in the fruit or in money. But in years 3 and 6, it switches from Ma'aser Sheni to Ma'aser Ani. So, oy vey, don't tell me I didn't print it. I really wanted to print that. Okay, Chaval. It was a very, very simple chart. Chaval. All it had in the chart is Ma'aser Rishon, Truma, Ma'aser Rishon, Ma'aser Sheni. And next to Ma'aser Sheni is Ani. Okay, those 3 things. Those are the things you have to bring. Truma, Ma'aser Rishon, Ma'aser Sheni. The Truma's Ma'aser, the Levi that you give the Ma'aser to takes care of. So we're not talking about this step over here. We're only talking about these 3 things. Truma, Ma'aser, and Ma'aser Sheni. Blue, red, and green, not purple. Okay? Oh, you know what? We'll just go like this. Beautiful. These are the 3 things we have to give today. That's what we're talking about. Says the Gemara. Shniya Ma'aser Rishon u'Ma'aser Sheni. Now, what year are you in? It goes by the vegetable. So if it's a year that it's the 2nd year of Shemitah going to the 3rd year of Shemitah, like this year is Shemitah, right? The 3rd year after Rosh Hashanah is the 3rd year. Shlishis Ma'aser Rishon u'Ma'aser Ani. So on the 3rd year, it's already it's down here. 3 and 6 is Meiser Ani. You have to give 10% now to the Ani. You don't get to eat it in Yerushalayim. 10% goes to the Ani. What about Meiser Sheni? The Gemara is going to tell us, you don't have to give Meiser Sheni. You flip it. Instead of Meiser Sheni, you do Meiser Ani. It's one of the only times we have this. Minani Mili. How do you know that in year 3 and 6, there's no Meiser Sheni at all? The green goes away and it becomes the small green, Meiser Ani. How do we know that? Interesting. It says in the 3rd year. What about in the 6th year? It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah anything about 6th year. It says in the 3rd year. New Year Chumash, man. What's Pshat? Because it starts over again. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3. Instead of 4, 5, 6, it's 1, 2, 3 again, 7. So 3 and 6 is included in this pasuk. I did the work for you. I'm like, where's this pasuk for Shisha? I'm looking all over the place. Shana she'ein ba ela maser echad. Shnas hamaser. What do you mean shnas hamaser? Every year is a shnas maser. No, you only do either or. Only either meiser sheni or meiser ani. Okay, so meiser rishon or meiser ani or meiser sheni yivatel. I do give meiser rishon and I give meiser ani, but the big green I don't give. Oyeno, you'll have meiser rishon and nami vatel. Maybe I shouldn't give anything over here. I shouldn't give the red. No meiser rishon. Tamaloyma velavim tadav v'matalim kisichu meiz b'nei Yisrael es hamaser shenasati lechem itam v'nachlaschem. What? No. Just meiser ani. Yeah. No, it says in the Torah you should give meiser ani. Maybe just meiser ani, not meiser rishon. No red. It says the Gemara because it says that you give the Levi and it says b'nachlaschem. There's a hekesh to inheritance. There's no year that you don't get inheritance. This never stops. You always give this to the Levi no matter what. Okay, Tzad. What does it mean there's only one Meiser? Tanya Idach. Sorry, Tanya Idach. It's the same thing. What does it say by you? Tanya Nameachi. Yes. Tzarech lo yim Tanya Nameachi. Thank you. Exact same thing. Okay, it said Meiser Rishon, Meiser Ani, or Meiser Sheni Yivatel. I get rid of, if it's the 3rd year, I do the Ani and Rishon, I don't do the Sheni. Yochel have Meiser Rishon, Ami Yivatel. Maybe I should get rid of the red. Tamaloimo Ba Levi. Kozman Sheba, Tenloi. A little bit of a different limud. Anytime he comes to you, even on the 3rd and 6th year, you give 10% to a Levi. Divri Rabbi Yehuda. If Lezmi Yaakov Oimer, any tzarech, you don't have to come on to this. Harei Oimer. Ve'elavim tedaber v'ormatalim ki sikchu meiz b'nei Yisrael samaser shenasati lochem mi'ito benachlaschem. That's our drasha. Hekish hakasav le'nachla. Manachla ein lo hefsek. Av meiser rishon ein lo hefsek. Next sugya. Vilan adorim. On Rosh Hashana, that's when it's the cutoff for a neder. What does that mean? Tana Rabbanan. Hamudan ha'mechaver l'shana. Someone gets really upset at his friend. I don't have anything to do with you. Nothing to do with you. So you go 365 days out. You said a year, so you can't drive his car. You can't benefit from him anything for a whole year. We had this sugi already and something else. If you said this year, schirus, yes, schirus, but by schirus we said, correct, that there's no schirus less than 30 days, besides my father moved to Bar Bag, remember that sugya? 30 days. Even if it's the very, very last day of the year, because we're talking about this is the cutoff right over here. So in Elul, the month right before, he went on the 29th day and he said, I don't want to have anything to do with my friend. 1 day is the entire year. Even according to Rebbe Eliezer and Shimon over there, Rebbe Eliezer that says, remember we had Machlokes from Meir and Rebbe Eliezer. Is 1 day considered a year or 30 days? But over here it's different. 1 day is nothing. Over here, over here, he wants to be in pain. He doesn't want to use his friend's car. So he's mekayim that mitzvah, or whatever it is, in 1 day. Veima Nisan. Why are you going with Tishrei? Rosh Hashana. B'nedarim halach achar loshem b'nei adam. When it comes to nedarim, what do people mean when they say the beginning of the year? Has anybody ever said the beginning of the year and mean Nisan? No. Everybody talks about Rosh Hashanah. So it goes by people. It goes by all nedarim have to do with how people speak. And Memela, it goes by the month of Tishrei. Have a wonderful day. No. The what? You missed yesterday, so I had to do the wheel for you again today.
No, I didn't miss it.
You were here? Really?